Hello everybody, welcome to the SSN Social programme. Yeah, we're celebrating already. We're going to be looking ahead to this huge game on Super Sunday. Let's find out whether this man's going to be celebrating on Sunday night, by the way. It's Manchester United taking on Liverpool. As you can see, Joe Thomlinson from Football Daily and Saturday Social is with us here. We're going to be speaking live to United We Stand to get their point of view and also the Anfield Wrap as well. And of course, we're going to be hearing from both the managers. How do we think that Jurgen Klopp's going to respond to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer asking for a favour this weekend?
You really think you can fly over from Norway and ask me that question? Wow.
Well, Solskjaer, of course, is under a lot more pressure than Klopp at the minute, but he's trying not to let it affect him.
Noisiest ever room. Everyone's looking forward to it.
He's always smiling, Ollie, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he's
not much to smile about, but...
Well, it's been tough, but he says he's looking forward to it, Joe. You're a Manchester United fan. I guess the big question is, are you looking forward to it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm slightly concerned this could be a bit of a humiliation on the weekend. Having said that, in these sort of games, form sometimes goes out the window. And never write off Manchester United. You never know. Marcus Rashford might finally score a goal because it's been a long time coming. Yeah,
it was such a positive start to the season for Manchester United as well, wasn't it? And as you know, you guys at home will know you've got your own show, Football Daily. You've been seeing what fans have been saying online. What's the feeling that you're picking up?
I think the feeling generally is that Man United are going to get battered this weekend. Right. I think everybody I've spoken to on social media predicts a Liverpool win. Very few and far between you find somebody that thinks Manchester United can get a result, let alone 3 points. So I think generally, Liverpool, huge favourites on social media for me. Yeah.
I was doing a Man United event last night and fans are massively behind the manager though still. I got that impression that there's, you know, they're still fully behind Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It seemed to be the case there anyway last night. Yeah,
well, I think the positive with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is that the fans are going to be on his side because he's a club legend. And now, because the pressure's off him to some extent, he's still under pressure, don't get me wrong, but it's moved to like a boardroom level, I'd say. Now, I think there's far more scrutiny on the likes of Ed Woodward, now that Solskjaer is in that position, because Manchester United fans are always going to give him more time than they were Jose Mourinho. And Ed Woodward now has to perform for him.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at some of the Google trends that have been offered up ahead of the game. We're going to have a quick look at that now. This is it. What do we see? When was the last time Manchester United were relegated? Has been typed in on Google a few times. That's worrying. Could they go down? Who's going to be the next manager? People looking at that.
Relax.
How many trophies have Liverpool won in the last 10 years is another one. You might like that one.
No Premier League.
They won the Champions League though, didn't they? What's the highest scoring away victory in this fixture? Goodness me, people have been busy typing things into the old internet, haven't they?
Well, what a fun read that is. Loads of stuff to be positive about there if you're a Man United fan. Let's just hope it's not like that Manchester City 6-1.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, Liverpool haven't won there since 2014, have they, of course. I mean, that one at the top, when was the last time Manchester United were relegated? I mean...
Relax.
Yeah, you said it there. I mean, people are getting a bit carried away, a bit worried.
Yeah, I mean, we've only played 8 games. Everybody needs to relax a little bit. And having said how much Ollie's struggling, he doesn't have many players to put out on the field at the moment. The injury list is absolutely monstrous. Obviously, no Pogba and De Gea this weekend either. Not helped by that. But having said that, you can see why people are unhappy. Manchester United should not be 2 points off relegation 8 games into the season. I think this is probably our worst start ever in the Premier League, and we sacked David Moyes when that sort of form was occurring. So I'm very worried about the weekend, but people just need to relax about the relegation talk.
Okay, well, we saw one of those other Google trends was who's going to be the next Manchester United manager. You've said already that the fans are going to give Ollie a bit more time than maybe someone else would get, but he's been saying today that he's going to have to make some decisions that might hurt the club in the short term to get long-term benefits, and he's confident he can build a good team going forward. Let's just hear what he had to say.
I speak to Ed loads of times, and we speak regularly, and as we've spoken about so many times, we do have a plan, and we know that we've made some decisions that maybe in the short term would harm us, but we know that in the long term will benefit us, and that's part of the plan.
So he's saying it's all part of the plan. I mean, are you seeing what he's maybe trying to achieve? some great young players at the club. I think Manchester United have always had a great blend of young players and senior players. The young players seem to be performing pretty well right now.
Yeah, the young players are performing. They're to a level, but the senior players aren't there, I think, is the issue. You've seen a lot of Manchester United teams in the past bed youngsters into teams that are already established and have a number of stars, whereas now you're reliant on those young players. I saw there are some positives, the likes of Mason Greenwood coming through. I think he signed a new 4-year contract today, so that's very exciting if you're a Manchester United fan, but there's too much reliance on these youngsters. Marcus Rashford clearly needs a break. He's playing too much football for a player of his age, and when you don't have that backup and that depth, then you're always going to struggle. So I kind of agree with Ollie to an extent, but he's got to be given the time to follow this through now. If it gets cut now, then what, do we restart again? Whole new squad under another manager? It's worrying.
Is it patience? Does everyone just have to be patient? Man United fans have to be patient?
Yeah, I think patience is a word that's thrown around too much, to be honest. Like, Manchester United fans just have to realise that this is cyclical. Like, Manchester United had their success, now we're going through a period of struggle. It's happened to every big team. I think Manchester United fans sometimes, and I'm one of them, get a little bit spoiled by how good we were under Alex Ferguson, and I'm sure in the future we will return to those glorious days, but right now it's a struggle.
OK, right, let's bring you to football writer now from United We Stand, editor Andy Mitten, who's on the line for us. Andy, thanks so much for joining us. We're speaking here with Joe. I mean, I don't know how much you've heard, but what's the mood amongst United fans, do you think, going into this game?
It's pretty bad because it's been a terrible start to the season, the worst start in 30 years. And it's Liverpool that are European champions. Can hardly believe that I'm saying this. And then there's going to be a run of 4 away games. United have not been scoring. They've not been winning enough. There's a big injury list that we know about, but the football's not been good either. So these are pretty worrying times for Manchester United fans. There's been a lot of dissent online. At games, the fans have been far more supportive, but in the last couple of matches, you've heard chants against the Glazers in the game in Den Haag and also at Newcastle in the last match. And it's pretty concerning times. It's when you consider that Manchester United have got the biggest wage bill in the league and the 12th in the league. Yes, it's still very early on in the league, but it should be far, far better than this. However, fans are still behind Ole Gunnar. We did a poll this week on United We Stand, and 83% said that he should be given more time. I think if I would have put that poll on Twitter, we wouldn't have got anything like that. So it will be supported, but there needs to be a big improvement.
Andy, Joe here. I just want to know your sort of thoughts on Ed Woodward kind of coming out publicly. We haven't seen him do it too often and giving interviews about how he believes it's a bit of a myth there's not footballing people behind the scenes at Manchester United. Do you think that's because he's getting pressure from above? Do you think that's because he's trying to appease the fans? Why is he coming out and making those statements now?
Well, Ed Woodward met some of the journalists yesterday. I met him in London last Thursday, and I spoke to him for 90 minutes in an interview that comes out in United We Stand outside the ground on Sunday. I've been asking him to do that interview for 2 years. Only he knows why he's chosen to do it now. He's clearly under a lot of scrutiny. He's under a lot of pressure, and he should be, because under his watch, Manchester United have been failing and the recruitment has been poor. And I put questions to him about the recruitment, about the state of Old Trafford, the training ground, the communication with the club, a director of football. And I think it's right to put those questions to him because, like every other Manchester United fan, I'm concerned about the direction which the club is going. So he's had to come out and fight his corner a little bit. He's entitled to do that. He feels that there's been some mistruths, that people think that he sat there on YouTube watching players and deciding which players United will sign. He's adamant that it's not like that, and I do believe him on that one. But fans are going to ask questions when the recruitment has been so poor since he became the main man in 2013. And it's not like United have not spent the money either. They've spent £800 million, I think, on players. We've got that huge wage bill. And of course there's injuries now, but it should still be much, much better.
Joe, Andy's saying there, under Ed Woodward, Manchester United are failing. Do you agree?
Definitely. I think he talked about this week starting a new journey. I don't really understand what the first 5 years of that journey under him has been about then, if he now has taken that long to even begin the journey? Is he not being held accountable for the first 5 years of failure? But having said that, I still think that United have to get a sporting director into that role alongside Ed, even if it is just a PR move at this stage to help him out a little bit, because it feels to me a little bit, I don't know what you think, Andy, but it kind of feels to me like Woodward is drowning a little bit amongst Manchester United fans in that role.
Yeah, he's adamant he has no part in the football side of it, and I asked him about a director of football, and he's not against adding to the talent on the football side. And there's a lot of very good CVs in the football recruitment side, but when Manchester United sign a player like Fred for £52 million and he's not a success, and he might well become one, but he hasn't been so far, fans are entitled to ask why. What on earth's going on? Who scouted this person? Who recruited this person? Now, in mitigation, the recruitment seems to have been better this summer. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Dan James, they've all had promising starts for Manchester United. I love the idea of young players coming through too. There's a lot of improvement in the academy. They've not got great teams yet, but they've got some very good young players, and I know you touched on Mason Greenwood earlier. But if you look at the class of '92, them lads were coming in and playing in a world-class team. The players coming in now, you can't expect Scott McTominay to drive Manchester United forward. He's not got the experience or the talent yet to do that. And so it's a club where there's a lot of worries, and I do think that if Ollie's going to stay, and I'd like him to, fans do have to be patient, because this is not his team. He's only been there for 10 months. Fantastic first 2.5 months. But the last 6 months, they've been pretty dreadful. And I was on the pre-season tour. I watched them closely. I speak to lots of people at the club. I speak to the players. I wrote of a fragile confidence. That's now gone. And I've also wrote several times that it's all right building for the future. You've still got to get results in the short term. And Ole Gunnar's not been getting them at the moment. He'll still get a lot of support at the match. People like him as a hero, but that's not unconditional. He's got to perform better as well. His team have got to be getting wins. They've got to be playing attacking football, because it's on that ticket that he's got the job. And if the football's terrible, the fans will eventually turn.
Andy, just before we let you go, you mentioned there the recruitment's got to be better, and you also talked about Scott McTominay maybe not having the talent yet to sort of lead the club in midfield. But we've learned today on Sky Sports News that Manchester United considering a move for the former Liverpool centre midfielder Emre Can in January. Do you think he'd be a good signing for the club?
I think the stories come out of Italy, and a lot of stories come out of Italy linking Manchester United to players. Most of them don't end up being true. I think United do need to strengthen the midfield. That's the weak point at the moment. Nemanja Matic has to improve. Fred's got to come good. Andreas Pereira's got to improve. And I've spoken to all of these people about this. They're well aware of this. Paul Pogba, it'd be great if he's playing and playing well, because he's a very talented player. If not, he's got to be strengthened. And he's got to be a top-class player. You know, look who Manchester United are up against. He's up against some of the best players in the world. And even when they beat Chelsea the first game of the season, 4-0, that result, that scoreline flattered Manchester United a lot. A large chunks of that game, including in a quite bizarre first half, United's midfield was second best there. So they're going to strengthen in the middle. They know the targets are. The targets are planned for next summer, but if one of them comes available in January, then they will go for that. But it's not easy to get players in January.
OK, Andy, look, thanks so much for coming on. I hope you enjoy the game on Sunday, although Liverpool fans won't hope that, but we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you.
OK, well, next we are going to be continuing to look forward to this huge game. We'll be getting a Liverpool perspective as well, and of course speaking much more to our special guest, Joe. Yeah, welcome back to the SSN Social. We're building up to Super Sunday's huge game, Manchester United versus Liverpool at Old Trafford. Thomlinson's not looking forward to it at the minute. Big Manchester United fan from Football Daily, of course, and Saturday Social. He's with us here. Now, we've been speaking at length about Manchester United, haven't we, in the first part? So, apologies,
Brilliant.
Joe. We're going to now... yeah, you didn't enjoy it very much. But we're going to cast our attention to Liverpool. And ahead of this game, of course, we looked at some of the Google trends that were being typed into Google, and you were sort of grimacing when you saw some of them. Here's a reminder, they're all very sort of negative as far as Manchester United are concerned. But just to pick out the one at the bottom there, is what is the highest scoring away victory in this fixture? I can tell you that the biggest margin of victory for Liverpool is 3 goals at Old Trafford. Could it be worse this Sunday? No chance, surely.
100% it could be worse.
Really?
Have you seen the state of our squad at the moment? It could definitely be worse than 3 goals. But just cross your fingers. Everybody at home, please cross your fingers that Liverpool don't beat us by more than 3, because we'll never hear the end of it.
I don't know. I'm not going to name drop, but someone said to me, he's very, very key figure in Manchester United's history last week, that Manchester United would lose to Newcastle but then beat Liverpool. And so far, he's halfway right. If he does get that right, I'll reveal who I'm talking about. Anyway, we spoke to United We Stand, didn't we, last time? So let's speak to our guest now from the Anfield Wrap. Neil Atkinson joins us. Neil, we've got a Manchester United fan here in the studio who's dreading the game on Sunday. Are you looking forward to it?
I'm up to a point, but this idea that there's going to be some sort of landslide of Liverpool goals, it goes against everything you've seen this season from this Manchester United side. Yes, they can't attack very well, but the defence is in decent shape. The midfield's in decent shape. They're not going to produce loads and loads of chances against Liverpool, but they're going to be solid and they're going to be respectable and they're going to battle. I'm not expecting some sort of 4-0, 5-0 from Liverpool. I'm expecting a really tough game, crowd to be up, and Liverpool to have to grind it out to get a 2-0 and work ever so hard. This is not going to be straightforward at all. And all the 11s with all Liverpool players in and all this sort of stuff, it's making it act like it'll be a cakewalk for the Reds. It won't be at all.
Yeah, I can tell there's nerves. There's bound to be nerves on the Liverpool side as well out of such a big game. You can equal Manchester City's run of 18 consecutive wins in the league if you can win at Old Trafford. But it's been a brilliant run, hasn't it, for your team? I mean, what's been the key, do you think, to that consistency?
I think what Liverpool have done really well is they've worked their way through games. Manchester City, you look at some of the games that they win and that they won when they were on their runs. Often it would be sort of racing into early leads. Liverpool haven't done that. They've been really, really good either side of half-time. They've worked out the best way to break a team down. They've hung in there when they've needed to. They've battled. There's been a lot of one-goal wins. Again, in the same way, this isn't a Liverpool side who, they're not playing the sort of unbelievable free-flowing attacking football you saw when they beat Rome 5-2. What they're doing instead is they're picking the moments, they're finding their little way through, and they're winning football matches. And I expect that to continue on Sunday. I'm not nervous about the game, but nor am I complacent. Liverpool are going to have to play well to win at Old Trafford. We haven't won there since 2014. Before then, it was 2009. It's a tough place to go. I expect Liverpool can go there. I expect Liverpool to win, but it's not going to be straightforward.
Neil, you're obviously 15 points ahead of Manchester United already this season. United 2 points above the relegation zone. I'm not overly confident. However, I do sort of agree with you about how strong our defence has been this year. But having said that, likely that Wan-Bissaka's a doubt, Luke Shaw's still a doubt. So how do you go about beating this Manchester United team comfortably, do you think?
I don't think comfortably is an option. I think one of the things that Liverpool need to do is they'll just need to control the game and to get on top within the game and just look to probe and be a little bit patient. I think they've got to show United the right amount of respect. And the manager was saying that in his press conference, that there's got to be the right amount of emotion, the right amount of passion. There's also the right amount of respect. Not too much, but enough to say that this is a side that can turn us round, pace on the counter, but also can defend well. And I think we'll see that. For me, I'd like to see, Salah turn up to a game at Old Trafford. I think he's been unlucky a couple of times. I think he's had treatment, but I think if he can find his way through the game, then I think he could well be the difference for us. And I expect Sadio Mane as well to really impress, because he's been on such a good run for such a long period of time. Listen, we know Liverpool have got the better players. We know that Liverpool should win the game. They're as many points clear as United for a reason. But it's still going to be hard. It's still going to be tough, and it's still going to take some winning. And there shouldn't be this idea that it'll just be some sort of walk in the park.
Interesting you mentioned those players, Mane, Salah, and of course Firmino. None of them have scored at Old Trafford. Incredible thing about it. But I just want to ask you, I mean, you still get the same buzz from beating Manchester United as a Liverpool fan as you would have done a few years ago? Of course, you remember the famous wins with Torres and Fowler, etc.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely brilliant to win at Old Trafford. It doesn't happen very often, firstly. Secondly, though, we're trying to win a league here. This is serious business. The running's already started. It started on the first game of the season. If you've got a team who are only going to drop 14, 15, 16 points, which is what Manchester City have been, then every single 3 points matters. And winning at Old Trafford matters even more because it's good to win against Manchester United. But this is what this is about. I mean, from a Liverpool point of view, listen, any win at Old Trafford's great. And we used to, the Danny Murphy wins when United would go on and win the league, but we'd win at Old Trafford and it'd feel good. Well, I mean, first and foremost, I'd take a defeat at Old Trafford if it guaranteed the title. But also, this is the serious business. Man City are coming to Anfield soon, and we want to get into that game. If we're 8 points ahead going into that game, then, it gives us a big opportunity to turn that into 11 points. But to do that, we've got to go and win every single time we take to the pitch. And this one against United,
okay, Neil,
it's going to be major.
We've been beaten by the clock, buddy. Thanks so much for coming on, and enjoy the game on Sunday. Quickly to Jurgen Klopp, who noticed that Danny Mills on Sky Sports News this week picked a combined 11, completely Liverpool players.
It's a football game against a really good side in a probably a difficult moment, but that makes them even more difficult for us as well. So that's how it is. We are not fussed by the winning streak. We don't think about it. It's just another football game, but a very important one, like they all are. It's the only one we play this weekend, and so let's focus on that, and that's what we try.
When they're struggling the way they are, I suppose, how does that impact on what is a massive rivalry? We keep talking just how big this rivalry is between the two.
I don't see any impact. I don't feel any impact. And since I'm in England, there were still, I think, how long am I now? 4 years. 4 years. So I think 2 of the 4 years they were ahead of us. They won the European League, so it was not that it's and this season only started. So we speak about our start, and then we say, okay, so far it was perfect, but it's only the start. So for them it was not perfect, but it's only the start. So why shouldn't things change? They had a lot of injury problems, and people don't want to hear that. And you cannot really mention it when you are in the situation yourself. You cannot always talk about the players who are injured, but no team in the world can really deal with 5-6 players out who usually would be in the first lineup. So that's a big challenge, but it's not our problem.
Okay, more from Jurgen Klopp throughout the night, but we're going to do finish, Joe. Basically, long-term future, yes or no? One-word answers, please. Pogba?
Yes.
Yes. Lingard?
Yes.
Okay. Rashford?
Yes.
You're keeping all of them. Ollie?
Yes. Yes.
Martial? Oh, yes, all of them so far. Scott McTominay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Fred?
No.
No, he's gone for a no with Fred. Yeah, Pereira?
No.
No, is out.
Definitely not.
Matic is a no. Luke Shaw?
Yes.
Yes. Ashley Young?
100% no.
100% no. That was right. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. So we've got quite a few no's in there. Joe, it's been fantastic.
No worries.
Good luck on Sunday with the game, I guess, and good luck to Liverpool fans as well. It's all live on Sky. Thanks to everyone who's got in touch on social media. Coming next year on Sky Sports News, we will be building up more to this huge game on Sunday. Live on Sky, Man U v Liverpool.